there's one thing everyone can agree is like universally fascinating, it's parliamentary procedure. So since a lot of my work for this channel recently has been web development stuff, the In Space with Markiplier project was a web thing, the No Stash generator was a web thing, the plant waterer was sort of a web thing, I figure why bother diversifying my portfolio instead of just doing more web things. Novelty is terrifying, and in an uncaring, amoral universe, being monotonous is an act of self-defense. So in that vein, I built a Discord bot, prepared to usher in the technological future of Discord-based parliamentary procedure, which is a thing that does in fact exist. I did a previous video on micronationalism like an amount of time ago, but here's the top-line summary in case you aren't interested in seeing me waste about 8 minutes of your time with a hammer. I should really bring the Hammer series back. Micronations are very small, internationally unrecognized countries. I don't mean internationally unrecognized in the way that, say, Abkhazia isn't, more so in the way that this random offshore platform in the North Sea isn't. While some go to great lengths to embrace the apparent trappings of nationhood in the style of actual countries like the nation of Molossia, which is based in Nevada's Great Basin Desert and has multiple government agencies, a post office, and a dictatorial president with military regalia. The vast majority of others tend to be smaller, nation-style projects, where most of the actual time and energy of the project goes into simulating the government. This brings us to Discord and its large presence of micronationalists through largely the MicroWiki website, which in turn brings us neatly to the point of today's video. I have identified what I believe to be a gap in the market. Hansard is the official report of all parliamentary debates in the UK. It's a comprehensive database of debates in the House of Commons and the House of Lords, the histories of members of Parliament, and so on. It's a useful resource if you want to know more about what's actually being said and done in Parliament on a daily basis, but the process of recording parliamentary transcripts is no doubt tiresome hard work. It's slightly easier for Discord-based nation projects because you can just copy-paste the messages into, say, a Word document and then transcribe those messages into a publicly accessible website, but that's itself a decent chunk of effort. If only it could be automated somehow. I don't know though. Oh well, make sure to rate, comment, and subscribe, and thanks for watching. I am of course joking because I already built it, and here's how you can set it up. Gowparl, a portmanteau of Gowland and Parliament, is a two-pronged system. On the one hand, you have a folder of .php files that handle displaying your website and the data and everything else, and on the other you have the Gowparl Discord bot, which is responsible for recording debates and transmitting them to the server your website is on. Curious. Turning point, Basildon, I don't know. You start by inviting the Discord bot into the server you want to record. You can do that through the link in the description. Once you have it in your server, you'll need to set up the website. Gowparl requires a MySQL database backend to work, but most web hosts offer this as standard. My go-to is Ionos, formerly 1&1, which is relatively cheap and which I use to host harrisongowland.co.uk. Setting up a MySQL database is slightly out of scope of this video, and in any event, as I say, most professional web hosting services will have a GUI that will do this for you, so I won't go into detail on that process here. The salient point is that at the end of that process, you'll have 4 data points: a database name, a database username, a database password, and the database's host URL. To connect up the Gowparl instance to the backend, you go to the hd-config PHP file in the Gowparl folder and replace the placeholder data with those data points. I know that makes it sound complicated, but I've basically just described copy-pasting things, so I'm sure you can hack it. Once that's done, and assuming the mice inside your walls haven't chewed through your phone line yet, you should see this homepage when you navigate to the folder hosting your Gowparl site. If you're seeing a white page, that's because the database didn't connect. Double check your config file. When you get to the homepage, you'll be asked to give your site a name and yourself a username and password so you can log into the administrator panel. You can also, if you want, change the color scheme to one of 5 vibrant options, as well as upload a custom logo to go in the header of your website, which is neat and cool, I guess. The critical point about this page, though, is that you also get an API key. This is the key the Discord bot uses to connect to your website, and because it's sensitive information, the page will only display it once. If you refresh the page, it'll disappear. This is because when the key is saved to your site, it isn't saved in raw form. Rather, it's saved in an encrypted format that if someone breaks into your database, they can't then use their own version of the Discord bot to upload to your site without permission. Or at least that's the idea. Anyway, point is, write it down somewhere. You should then get shown an empty web page. This is the homepage of your Gowparl instance and will get populated with debate information where you start sending it data from your Discord bot. So let's do that. No. At this juncture, I will add for sake of clarity that this tutorial assumes that you are the administrator of your server. If you want non-admins to be able to interact with your bot, you'll need to give them roles that allow them to do so. To get a comprehensive list of what roles allow you to do what, type !HD permissions and you'll get a message with all the information. If you want people to be able to do anything, including updating the API key or setting up the server in the first place, you can give them the Gowparl all role. In Discord, now that your bot is there, type !HD add server. This will cause the bot to message you, prompting you for the URL of your website. This is the URL that holds all of your PHP files, so if it's in a folder on your site, you'll need to write out the URL, followed by a slash, followed by the name of the folder those files are in. Note also that it will only work over HTTPS and that you don't need to include www because it will do it for you. Next, it will prompt you for your API key. Paste it into the messages to the bot, and then once you're happy with the results, type yes to attempt to connect. If it can't, it'll either be because you spelled the URL or API key wrong, or I broke something on the Python side and now it isn't working. With that set up, you should now be able to record debates. Type !HD record followed by the name of the recording. If you want to put spaces in, make sure to put the whole thing in quotation marks, or otherwise it'll only include the first word. Then debate away. If you want to hold a vote, type HD call vote, again with the subject in quotations if you want to use spaces, and follow the instructions. When you're done voting, type HD end vote to tabulate the results. If you're happy that your debate is over, type HD record again to stop recording. This will close the recording session and transmit the contents of your debate to your website. Any messages, excluding commands or messages sent by the bot, will be included in addition to any votes that were taken at the time they were taken. To check how the vote came out, log into the administrator panel on your site if you have yet to do so and click through to the uploaded records tab. This will show you all the records that the Discord bot has captured, including ones you've already processed, though the latter are hidden by default. You can click the show processed records button to display them. Pick a record to process and you'll be taken to this screen. Here you can name the debate and attach it to a committee. Committee is just a catch-all term here for whatever you call the group of people debating it. This can be Parliament as a whole if your legislature is small enough that you can consider matters on that scale, or it can be a subcommittee of your legislature if you have enough staff. The choice is yours. If you already have a committee you want to upload the record to, you can click the Use Existing Committee checkbox to add the record to it. This will reveal a drop-down of all the committees you have on your site. Then at the bottom there will be a list of everyone who spoke during the debate. Here you can fill in their name, what position they hold in your national government, and what party colour, if any, they should have. This makes it easier to see what the partisan makeup of your debate is if it's important that you draw that distinction. Alternatively, if you're a one-party government, have them all be the same colour to make the resulting transcript look neat and nice. Once you're happy everything is done, you can click Submit to send that processed record into the database proper. Now when you go back to your homepage, you should see a new box with your committee name and the debate you just ran, as well as what time it happened. This time may not look right. I'm going to add a feature later that lets you change the local time zone, but I haven't had much opportunity to test this in any case, so let me know what results you get. A couple additional things just to round out. If you go to your admin settings, you can change the website name, color, and logo, rename committees but not delete them yet, I'm working on it, and generate a new API key. If you do generate a new API key, bear in mind the Discord bot won't be able to submit records anymore until you pass the new key into it through the HD API key dialog. That's about the size of it. I will add this is non-production ready software and this needs to be battle tested in the wild before it's properly good for the big time. I don't know how well the backend handles Gowparl being used by more than just my server, so your results may vary. However, I'm very enthused about the potential future of this as a project, and I'm going to continue to work on it. If your micronational government has a use case for this, feel free to give it a try by downloading the v0.1-b release on GitHub. If you need technical support or want to offer feedback on it, let me know on Twitter or post on the Issues tab also on GitHub. That's all for this one. I may do a video in the future about the process of actually making Gowparl, but to be honest, this video is long enough as it is. Thanks for watching, folks. Make sure to subscribe or I'll start screaming and howling at high volume.